Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. We're talking to you guys about Christian Keys. Listen, I did a whole live the other day. We'll do another live another day, but we're just gonna quickly do a quick video. Some more information that he's released about his past childhood linking to his present day. If you don't know, Christian Keys was accused three people of sexual violence and sexual assault against him during his career at his time, and he will be naming names a little bit later on once he gives the police evidence. And he's not looking for money or handout, but he wanted to share his story. Now, as he shared a bit more of his story again today, people have got visibly upset and annoyed because they feel like, you know what, if you're not going to tell us names, stop talking. And I think this is incredibly unfair. People want to tell their story, but sometimes they're not ready to share the names of those people because their whole life is going to be shaped by them saying these particular people's names. Their whole world is going to change. And right now, I want to tell you my story without having to tell you things that are going to be world changing at this moment. I get it. I fully understand. But for certain black folk, that ain't running for them. For them, he's attention seeking, and I think it's because it goes into the idea of what's a perfect assault victim. And he doesn't fit the bill for a perfect assault victim at this point in time. He's a man, he's light skinned, he's pretty, he should have it all together. It's quote unquote not the stereotypical person who's getting abused, right? And so many people can't identify with his pain and what he's going through. Okay, we're gonna play a bit of clip and then we'll read what his statement was.
Speak on the first adoption. Mrs. Keys was incredibly abusive. I mean, bat, hammer, broomstick, saucepan, bottle. When the belt didn't, when it wasn't as effective as she wanted, when it didn't make us scream loud enough, she would hold the leather side and beat us with the belt buckle. It gets worse, but it was that kind of environment between 8 and 12. So by 9, I started running away. By 10, I was pretty good. By 11, I was a professional runaway. I could stay on the streets for a week or two at a time. I knew how to sleep behind the bleachers in the middle school, how to sneak in and bum a bite of a friend's lunch in the cafeteria or go through the garbage and see what.
And it's crazy to hear this story. I don't want to go too far because I want to do a proper video later on. This is more of a rundown, but it's interesting to hear his story because the it goes into alignment with what I was saying about people that have been abused oftentimes get targeted for abuse later on in their adult life. So people that have gone through child abuse oftentimes get targeted by predators later on because they sense that damage and that pain and that brokenness of that child. And so when that person's looking for something, they're looking for the fatherly figure, the love from a woman or love from a man, and they so desperately want it because it's coming from a place of a wound that they've suffered as a child. These people try to tempt them into these places. They try to brainwash them. They try to offer, as he said, deals to get what they want, but you have to give me something to do so. They are incredibly abusive to these type of people because they sense they've been abused before, and they likely make the best victims, ideally for them, if they haven't learned how to grow and stand up for themselves and be able to speak up for that inner child as well and protect the inner child. And so when he told his story about what he had gone through in terms of sexual violence from certain men, it now makes sense that he had suffered some violence and some abuse and trauma in his childhood. So I'm quickly read his statement. He said, "This is an interview I did with Black Star, ATL, I think ATL, AD Black Star a while back. Maybe it will be a little easier to understand why it's difficult to speak up about it, difficult to find courage. These powerful people target people with traumatic childhoods and use that to bond with them and earn their trust. And then they try their attempt." So this is something they talk about is even more sickly. They try to earn their trust, try to lure them in this false sense of security, and then they strike. Once you go through anything like I went through for years as a kid, this new trauma can almost make you shut down again. And even though in the moment you find strength to say no in an attempt, you still may not be strong enough to speak up or brave enough. Worrying about if the person was going to take away my livelihood, worrying about how many other people are out there that weren't strong enough to say no, and they actually said yes. Again, like he said, the fear of even wanting to going back to the streets can make somebody succumb to the pressure of that offer that they're going to give, that devilish offer they're going to give, right? Which is to give one hand and take with the other hand, and it's a compromising offer they're trying to give you, right? So it says here that this new trauma can almost make you shut down again, and even though in the moment you find strength to say no, to the attempt, you may still not be strong enough to speak up or brave enough. Worrying about if this person is going to take away my livelihood. Worrying about how many other people out there that weren't strong enough to say no, and they actually said yes. Is this person still doing it? Still pressuring people to walk away from their integrity and their morals for an opportunity? You pray and gather the strength to speak up, and most people are in a corner and believe you. I'm not going to respond to the ignorant or negative comments that have been made. I just pray that those people will never have the experience themselves, or never have any family members that go through anything of this traumatic, and then they have people talking ish about me, or is it ish uh, about him. I don't know if it says me or him, who don't even know them. And I think he's actually right, right? People are trash talking, saying, "Why are you going to open your mouth and say if you're not going to say the names? Why are you speaking up now?" Da, da, da. There's a lot of different comments that are dissenting away from him sharing his truth. And some might say it's very different from how women are treated. In some regard, yes, in some regard, no, because what we call is just the perfect victim. When people believe that you're not the perfect victim, they don't want to hear what you got to say. When you're the perfect victim, you can play this role much more easier. But when you're not the perfect victim and they see you as this large man who's good looking, light skinned, why would he suffer at the hands of somebody else like this? Why would another man do that to him? Right? That's why Funky Dineva was like, well, can't see another gay man doing what Kristen Keys was saying to him. But the reality of the situation is there are men like this who are power hungry that will go after young people, trying to cultivate them and to bring them into alignment. There's many of those. So I get it when he says people are trying to invalidate his experience. If you go through the comments, you'll see people saying, keep quiet. Why are you still talking about it? I thought you said, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to talk about it, make sure you mention names. People are already impatient because they have an idea in their head. So let me leave it there. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate you. Stay locked.